I have to do this comparison, otherwise I'll just go and splurge my money on another microphone. The MKH-416, it has always been my aspirational microphone. I could not afford it at first. That's why I had to settle with the Sennheiser MKE-600, which has worked fine for me for the past 3 years. But still, I have this urge. Should I get a 416? Should I get a 416? It has a glamour value. Everybody uses it. 416 is like the name in the voiceover industry. A lot of great voiceover artists use it, especially for promo narration, and they all sound amazingly good in it. But is that just because of the microphone? My stupid brain needs a reality check. And instead of impulsively spending that money on a 416 right away, I decided, let me rent a 416 and actually do a one-on-one comparison between the MKE-600 and MKH-416. Stay tuned to find out whether I'll convince myself to go and purchase one, or I'll convince myself to settle with the MKE-600, which is a great microphone. And now we have switched to the MKH-416, the superstar. I don't know why I'm so excited about this microphone. It's just another microphone. It's exciting that I'm hearing it for the first time in my setup, my voice through it. I can manipulate it however way I want. I've used it in studios and stuff. I've ogled at people using it on YouTube video. Now we are going to do the voiceover comparison. We all deserve a healthy life. In a world with no pain, no diseases, no sufferings or stress. We all deserve a healthy life. In a world with no pain, no diseases, no sufferings or stress. But sometimes life puts us in a situation where we need medical attention. In times such as these, healthcare should be accessible to all in need. But sometimes life puts us in a situation where we need medical attention. In times such as these, healthcare should be accessible to all in need. Do I notice any difference? I'm not sure. Yes, it has a little more better high-end, a little more clarity, I guess. It's a slight difference. That's what I think. The MKE-600 does sound a little muddy compared to the 416, and the 416 has this shimmer which gives a pleasing rich sound altogether, even in the high end and the low end. But I'm sure we can EQ the MKE-600 a little bit to achieve a similar sound. The MKH-416 has a better sound right out of the box, especially the proximity effect on the MKH-416 is much more pleasing, whereas the MKE-600 gets increasingly muddy and dull when you move closer to it. Also, I have noticed it is difficult to manage the popping blows and mouth noises on the MKE-600 at close proximity. The MKH-416 is much more easier to use even in very close proximity, which is a used case for voiceover narration. Let's try the included wind cap on for both microphones and see how they sound in very close proximity. We all deserve a healthy life. In a world with no pain, no diseases, no sufferings or stress, we all need a healthy life. In a world with no pain, no diseases, no sufferings or stress, we all deserve a healthy life. In a world with no pain, no diseases, no sufferings or stress. The transparency and plosive rejection of the MKH-416 wind cap is very good, whereas the MKE-600 wind cap make the sound even more muddy and dull and unpleasant. I could not make out major differences in the background noise rejection between both the microphones, but the audio from MKH-416 does sound cleaner. In conclusion, for voiceover scenario, although the MKH-416 would not induce a drastic change in the quality of my audio compared to the MKE-600, I have to confess it did induce much more confidence in me in expecting a good output every time, even when I got very close to the microphone. Whereas with the MKE-600, I had to be extra careful in the mic placement in close proximity. This is something I would see as a takeaway from this entire comparison. Notice how I used the words pleasant, pleasing, etc. to define the MKH-416. That is exactly how I feel, and that is the only difference I felt in this entire comparison. But for the price, the pros doesn't seem to outweigh the MKE-600 dramatically, and hence, for now, I have decided against purchasing a new MKH-416. Because I believe with a little bit of post-processing, my end audio from both these microphones would not make any drastic difference in the listening experience to my audience.